So this past weekend, I woke up to some exciting news. To my surprise, we got to see the new wave of Age of the Primes Deluxes. This is what I just made a video on last week. And most of my predictions were right. Obviously, everyone kind of predicted what they were going to be. But starting off with a surprise was Transformers Prime Cliffjumper. Now, Transformers Prime Cliffjumper was in a leak list, and I didn't know what wave it was going to be in, but it looks to be Age of the Primes Wave 6, or whatever wave this is. So it looks like both waves for 2026 are going to have 5 deluxe figures instead of the normal 4, which the Hasbro team has stated before that they want to have more figures per wave, but less waves per year. And it looks like they're sticking true to their word. But they also mentioned they don't want to do packaging refreshes anymore. And looking at this Cliffjumper, it's exactly the same as the one of whatever Legacy 4 pack it was part of. I think that the Legacy Transformers Prime figures are pretty lame. I'm rewatching Transformers Prime right now. I haven't watched it since I was a kid when it first came out. But rewatching it now and then seeing these Legacy figures, like we can start with Bulkhead and RC from Legacy, and even this Cliffjumper, and soon to talk about Smokescreen. They don't do the Prime designs justice. I don't like how they G1ified them, because you look at the Armada Trilogy figures, they're not G1ified like Cliffjumper and the Prime figures have been. So you could argue that the Prime designs are more Bayverse and you want them to fit more into G1. Sure, there's a bunch of arguments you can make. That's not the point of this video. It's just a little tangent on how I think the new Prime figures are a little lame. They're good figures, but they're not like Prime screen accurate, and they're not supposed to be. But maybe we should have a way to get those screen accurate Prime designs. But anyway, Cliffjumper looks pretty much unchanged. I was assuming that when Hasbro said that they weren't going to do packaging refreshes, that meant when they did do packaging refreshes for hard-to-find figures, they tweaked them a little bit. Kind of like what they did with the first release of Metal Hawk and the second release. They varied the colors a little bit. So I was expecting some stuff like that. This looks to be the same figure. It's as before, but it's understandable. Not everybody can afford the 4-packs, and sometimes they do have some really good exclusive figures. So I'm happy for everyone to be able to get their hands on this if they missed it. It might shelf form a little bit, but who knows? And that also makes me think we have a leak for a deluxe class Fangry for Age of the Primes, and I'm expecting that to be just a straight up re-release of the buzzworthy 4-pack of Fangry. So if you want Fangry and you missed the 4-pack, don't pay an insane price on eBay for it yet. Just wait and see if they re-release it later this year. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about the other Transformers Prime figure, which is Smokescreen. And in my previous video, I thought this was going to be a G1 Smokescreen. I'm happy I'm wrong. It's a different Smokescreen. He looks pretty good. He's got a really accurate alt mode. He comes with 2 blasters. I like that. And it almost looks like on his arm he has a little relic. I'm sorry, my Transformers Prime rewatch, I'm just starting season 2, so Smokescreen hasn't shown up yet. But it looks like he is that relic on his wrist that I remember him getting in the show. I think it's a phaser or something. I don't know. But his head looks very G1ified. The head looks like Prowl. And the chest is weird because I looked up a picture of Transformers Prime Smokescreen, and he doesn't have just a straight up card chest. Yes, parts of the front bumper end up on his chest, but not like this. It looks kind of weird. It looks like a G1 Datsun mixed with the Transformers Prime Smokescreen. So that was probably the intention, but like I said before, why can't we just get these Transformers Prime designs that look like the Transformers Prime designs? Because some people really, really love that show, myself included. I get that they want this to fit in with the G1 collection, but at the same time, there's got to be a market for just straight up Transformers Prime designs. Because some of the original figures weren't very good. Like, look at Robots in Disguise. Well, the subline was Robots in Disguise. I look at Arachnid, Knockout. Those are both not the greatest figures, and I feel like they could do a modern take on those figures and it would look really, really good without having to G1ify them. But maybe that's a topic for another video. Going on to Powerglide, which I believe is the last 1985 mini-bot, like Season 2 mini-bot we needed. He looks really good. I've saw some complaints about the head. His head does look a little big, and maybe the mouth plate is a little too dark of a color, but I think it looks great. He's photographed with the new Studio Series Devastation Bumblebee weapons. Who knows if he's actually going to get those when he releases or not, but I think he looks really good. I think it's an improvement of the Carnivores version. Swerve, which I saw some people complaining that this wasn't the IDW Swerve. We already got that. The Thrilling 30s figures is a really good representation of that. We haven't gotten a modern G1 version. Unless you want to talk about the GDO figure that was a repaint from Cup. That was pretty lame. But this is really, really good. I'm happy we're getting this. Looks great. Looks like the shoulders have been changed from the Legacy Gears mold. And I'm really impressed with it. Probably get an inevitable toy deco eventually, but I'm more for cartoon deco. So I'm happy about that. Lastly is animated Ratchet. And in my previous video, I was assuming that animated Ratchet would be a entirely new mold, but I was so wrong. They decided to dig up the Earthrise Hoist and Trailbreaker mold and do a partial to get Ratchet. And I haven't seen a lot of complaints about it. Surprisingly, I was expecting to see a lot of complaints about this. I get it, but I also think it's kind of lame. Like, the vehicle mode looks more off-roady than Ratchet's animated vehicle mode. It'll look like he'll have the same backpack as Trailbreaker because he's got that enclosed cap or enclosed bed. One thing I'm noticing right away is that the panels behind his shoulders aren't as long as the Hoist and Trailbreaker mold, which looks a lot better. It's what Trailbreaker probably should have came with, because Trailbreaker and Hoist had two different body types in the animation. Even though they're the same toy, they had two different animation models. Hoist was a lot more toy accurate. Trailbreaker was a lot more had a lot of changes. So it's kind of disappointing we never got that on Trailbreaker. And I guess it works. He's got the same rough body shape, but again, it feels like these animated figures are suffering because all the Transformers Prime figures are getting all these new molds, and they don't even really look like the Prime designs. The new animated figures we've been getting look like the animated characters, pretty much. But they're getting some weird mold reuses. Like, look at animated Wreck-Gar. That's the best example. And this, like, it works, but fans who really, really love Transformers Animated, and, like, Animated was a show that got them into Transformers, it sucks for them that this is what they get. Because Ratchet was a major character, and he has to be a partial. He can't be his own mold. And now, because it's a partial off of the Earthrise Hoist and Trailbreaker, I'm wondering how are they going to do... They can't do a Cybertron Ironhide from this, other than changing the chest to make it look like the Cybertron version. But there's no way they could retool the alt mode to get treads in it, like animated Ironhide had, or the Auto Troopers, because those are also used for this. Even though we already got the Auto Trooper in the One Buzzworthy 5-pack, I'm expecting Hasbro to still repaint this into Ironhide, into a silver Ironhide, into the Auto Troopers, into, I don't know, a younger Ratchet maybe with a undamaged head. All the repaints in the book you can expect, but it's just kind of lame that it's that Earthrise mold. I think Ratchet deserved a little more, but I guess it works. And then we also get to see Studio Series Transformers 1 Orion packs, which looks really good. It looks a lot better than the Optimus Prime. I've passed on all of the Studio Series Transformers 1 figures, and I intend to pick up Arachnid when she comes out because I don't have an Arachnid figure. But the Transformers 1 designs, most of them don't really do anything for me. It's an easy pass. Little disappointing. And then we also get to see Devastation Bumblebee, which I was expecting to be the 86 Bumblebee, but with blue windshields. This is an I wouldn't say entirely new Bumblebee. It looks very similar to the 86 Bumblebee with some longer legs. Maybe this will give us that Throttlebot mold. I think the longer legs would look better for other throttle bots. But really game accurate alt mode. Nice figure. Don't know if I'm going to pick it up because I'm perfectly happy with my Studio Series Bumblebee. But it looks pretty good. And then we also got some pictures of a figure from a new subline. We know from leaks that we are getting a Transformers the movie subline to celebrate the 40 years of the movie this year, or I mean next year. It's almost the end of the year. And the first one leaked online, it is Hot Rod. Now this Hot Rod is a repaint of the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, a couple more accessories, so hopefully they don't change the price very much. He comes with a shield and his little sword and fishing rod. Really, really cool. I'm happy we're getting more accessories with this figure. Now that I look at it, you don't get the blast effects for the forearms and you don't get the blast effects for the Matrix. And also the Matrix is unpainted in this photo, so maybe Hasbro's moving away from blast effects. I wouldn't be upset about that. I don't really use them. Some photographers take really great photos with the blast effects, but I feel like on display, you don't really get much out of it. And sometimes the soft plastic degrades faster, so that's fine. But yeah, this Hot Rod is perfect. He's that magenta pink color that he should have been in the first place. I think the magenta Hot Rod, this color Hot Rod, is perfect. I think it looks so cool, and it's unique and different from just the standard red. Some people prefer the red, it's toy accurate. I get it, but I think this looks way, way better. Ever since they did it with the G1 reissue years ago, I was hoping they'd do it with this figure, and they've finally done it. So I think this looks great. I already sold my 86 Hot Rod in anticipation for this, so it'll look great. Now I'm wondering when we're going to get a new Rodimus Prime, and if it's just going to be a repaint of the Kingdom, or if it's going to be an entirely new Rodimus Prime. Now just bring on the rest of the 86 subline figures. So many nice, good redecos are going to come out of this subline, and I'm just waiting to see some more. So what do you guys think of all the reveals? This does leave Wave 6 of Age of the Primes in a little bit of a weird spot, because we know all the deluxes we're getting. We know we're getting Sideways, and I guess Commander Onslaught will go up for pre-order around this time. Well, where does that leave the leader class figures? Why haven't we seen the leader class figures yet? You know my predictions. If you don't, watch my last video. And yeah, basically, what do you guys think of these reveals? Are you happy with them? Are you disappointed? Do you think we need some more screen accurate Transformers Prime figures? Do you think they're being kind of lazy with the animated Autobots? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.